your right hand, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. You swear and affirm the information you're about to give is the truth to the best of your ability. If you so affirm, you can lower your hand. If there's anyone that objects to that, you can keep your hand raised. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Magistrate Court of Clayton County. We're here to try your case or to take a plea. You are here.
Judge McFarland, you froze.
Yes.
Judge McFarland.
Yes.
Froze, ma'am. Let's start again.
All right. This is the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. We're not here to try your case or take a plea today. You're here to inform you of certain charges against you of your rights, set bail of those offenses for which this court is authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You do have the right to remain silent and say nothing. But should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if you're...
You froze again. Judge.
Goes to trial. You have the right to indictment by grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors.
Judge McFarland.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
You froze again, ma'am. They missed a lot of it. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh. Okay. Did you all hear the right to remain silent?
Yes, they heard that.
All right. During this and all proceedings, you have the right to the presumption of innocence until the state proves your guilt beyond the reasonable doubt. You hear that?
Yeah.
All right. You have the right to an indictment by the grand jury for most felonies and by accusation for misdemeanors. Did you hear that?
Yes.
The right to testify, the right to a speedy and public trial by jury. You heard that?
Yes.
All right. The right to see, hear, and examine witnesses who are called to testify against you.
Yeah. Yes.
The right to compel the attendance of witnesses on your own behalf by subpoena. You hear that?
Yeah. Yes. Judge McFarland, you froze again, ma'am.
Did you get that?
No, ma'am.
Say it again. All right. You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses. Did you hear that?
No, ma'am. They didn't hear that. Judge McFarland. Yeah. Judge McFarland.
What's the last thing you heard?
Nothing. The last sentence that the very last sentence, who was the
Subpoena witnesses.
Subpoena witnesses was the last thing they heard, ma'am.
Okay, you have the right to testify and offer evidence on your own behalf or in your own defense, should you choose to do so. But should you choose not to, no presumption of your guilt may be raised. Did you hear that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I am going to appoint a court-appointed attorney to assist all of you. However, if you would like to have a private attorney assist you, have them file an entry of appearance with the court, and the court-appointed attorney will no longer assist you. Did you hear that?
Yes.
All right, you may post bond in 3 ways for those who have a bond. The first way is through a cash bond. The amount that I tell you your bond is plus surcharges should be paid to the jail. That's the sheriff's department. They'll hold on to that money until the end of your case. Once your case is disposed of, the money will be returned to the person that posted bond. The second way is if you go through a bonding company that is approved by the sheriff's office, they will charge up to 15% of your bond amount and then they keep that money for their services as their fee, so you won't get that money back. And then the third way you can post bond is if you have equity in property. The person that is putting up the property would have to have a net equity in the property, an amount equal to 3 times the total amount of your bond. Did you get that? All right, some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. Make sure that you follow the instructions that are given to you to avoid being rearrested, the possibility of you remaining in custody until your case is disposed of, and additional charges being added, including aggravated stalking, influencing witnesses, or other charges that the law may provide for. And you could be sentenced up to 10 years in prison and fined up to $20,000. If you have a family member that is also an alleged victim in the case, they will not be able to assist you in the posting of bond, so you will have to make other arrangements. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before the Superior Court judge, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set a bond. Your bond will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to determine if they wish to file a warrant for a violation of your probation. This is usually done during your preliminary hearing. All right, one of the purposes of your preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is enough evidence or probable cause to justify your case proceeding to trial. For misdemeanor offenses only, you may waive your preliminary hearing today. If you choose to do so, we will mail you your court notice for your arraignment. If you either can't post bond if you can't post bond and you have your preliminary hearing, at that point, you can either enter your plea of guilty and then you'll be sentenced, or not guilty and a trial date will be given. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is going to automatically be waived, and then you'll get your notice on when to appear in court for your arraignment. If you're charged with a felony, you do not have the option of waiving today, but that option can be given to you at a future date. All right, I am going to call you one by one to let you know your charges and your bond, as well as your court date. If you will follow the instructions of the deputy, we'll get started, and I'll handle the extradition matters last. All right, and there's gonna be some that I need, I'm still waiting on criminal history or needing information, and they can be towards the end as well, but we'll go.
Hold on one.
Okay.
Because I didn't hear everything you said, Deputy. Hold on.
Go ahead now.
Judge McFarland, we're gonna start with the 7th for the females will be Miss Clayton first, because the medical ones are, Miss Anderson is on isolation. She's quarantined in medical.
Okay, hold on, let me make a note.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I have a section for isolation.
Okay. So Carmen Anderson
And then
is,
who's your first?
say it again?
Who's your first person?
First person's gonna be Taisha Clayton from August 7th.
Kiara Brenton is on isolation as well?
Out on bond, ma'am. She's
Say-
out. She's out on
You
bond.
said out to bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
The next one is Taisha Clayton. That's the one, it's gonna be Clayton.
okay.
Okay, and then the next one will be Jennifer Frazier, who's also on isolation. Jenny Frazier is on isolation, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay, so after Miss Clayton is gonna be Henrietta Graves. Okay,
all right,
okay.
okay.
And then we will put the machine up and on.
Taisha Clayton and Henrietta Graves.
Open the door.
Miss Graves, come right here from me. Go to the podium. Go right there to the podium, put your face mask down, stand all the way up there.
Taisha Clayton.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Clayton, you're charged with battery, false imprisonment, and possession of less than an ounce. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, your total bond is $1,000. Your order to wear
It's breaking up.
total bond.
She said it broke up, she didn't hear you. It's breaking
Can
up.
you hear me now?
Yes.
The total bond is $14,000. You're ordered to stay away from Isaiah Says,
Yeah.
not to return to 7th Street.
I have a question. She had.
Hold on, in Riverdale, Georgia, and you're not to violate any laws if you post. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, I could post bond. So would it be it would be like 1,400 with
You'll have to go through a bonding company for a percentage, ma'am. Your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You said you had a question?
Yes, I found out she when the day it was going on, the police told me she was moving back to Philly, and I found out she moved to Philly, but the apartment is in my name and it's mine, and she is.
All right, so what you is when you speak with your court-appointed attorney, provide them with the information, and then they can submit it to the court for us to reconsider the bond. But I don't have enough information before me today to make a change to this order. So speak with your attorney and let them properly submit the information to the court, okay?
So I would have to go. Where would I have to go? Because I only have my mother.
Your court attorney should come, or however I think they may be doing it over video, but they should make contact with you, speak with them about it.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Next, come on, man.
Who's after Ms. Graves?
Next is Henrietta Graves.
Who do you have after Ms. Graves?
Graves gonna be Melody Henry.
All right, and you're Henrietta Graves?
Henry.
All right, Ms. Graves, you're charged with defective equipment, giving false name, address, or date of driving on a suspended license, and possession of crack cocaine. Do you understand what you're charged with?
I didn't hear the last two.
I'll say them all. And you're charged with defective equipment, giving false name, address, or date of birth, driving on a suspended license, and possession of crack cocaine. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes.
Do not have a bond at this time. It looks like a suspension out of Clayton County State Court. If you post bond in the future, you're ordered not to violate it.
I can't hear what she said.
You're breaking up.
You do not have a bond at this time. Your next court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202, and you may return with the deputy.
All right,
Okay.
go for it. Come on, man.
Can I ask a question?
What's your question, ma'am?
Do I have to stay here till August 31st?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question.
Do I have to stay here till August 31st?
You do not have a bond at this time, so speak with your attorney and we can go, but that's as of today.
Okay, thanks.
Who's after Ms. Henry?
Kristen Hill's gonna be next after Miss Henry.
And you're Melanie Henry.
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with threats. Do you understand what you're charged with?
It jumped. I didn't hear it.
Terroristic threats.
Yeah, they said that.
Do you understand what you're charged with?
I do not, but could you break that down?
The information is that on August the 6th, You shot at a van while it was leaving the scene. You admitted to shooting to disable it. Upon police arrival, you shot 2 at the conveyance, which is being operated, occupied by passengers. Bond is $12,000, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Your court date is set for September the 28th, 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy.
September 28th.
September 28th. And is there a bond? It was breaking.
$12,000.
12,000, okay. All right, thank you.
It's gonna be Kirsten Hill.
After Ms. Hill,
After Ms. Hill is gonna be Jayla Jones. Jayla Jones.
and you're Kristen Hill.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Hill, you're charged with 3 counts of obstructing an officer. 1 is a felony, simple battery, and simple assault. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Your bond is $19,000, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Your court date, do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 20. You may return with the deputy.
Will that be mailed to me? The information be mailed to me?
No, I just gave it to you. You should have a pen and paper there to write down your court date.
I don't have that.
All right, who's after Ms. Jones?
It's gonna be Miller, Maya.
Judge McFarland, what was Ms. Hill's court date again?
28th, I think September.
September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201.
It's gonna be Miller. Miller, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Miller Maya is gonna be next after this one.
Yeah, because I went to.
Oh, yeah, that needs
You
to
said Miller?
Yes, ma'am, Miller Maya.
This young lady, what's your name?
I gotta use it so
What's your
bad.
name?
Jayla Jones.
Jayla Jones, ma'am, is at the podium right now.
Ooh, it's about to come out like.
You gotta hold it. Where? No. Judge McFarland.
Yes.
The next person, this young lady needs to use the restroom.
Right now.
Yes.
Okay. What's your name? Miller? Okay. One moment, Judge McFarland. Okay.
I don't have Maya Miller's. Oh, is she?
She's from,
Okay, Jayla Jones, and then it's the 8/8 calendar.
yeah, what it was is I mixed up Miss Jones from off the 8th. Don't worry, we can just push her back to the 8th and go with Maya Miller. Maya Miller's at the podium.
After that, it's gonna be simple.
We still on the 7th, man. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to confuse you.
I don't have Maya Miller for the 7th. That's why
You don't?
I do not.
Oh, Maya, M-A-Y-A Miller?
I don't have a Miller for the 7th.
No, she has to go.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so we could do Miss Jones then, Jayla Jones. Is that what you have?
That's the young lady that just
Yeah.
had to step away.
Yeah. So is that your 7th, Jayla Jones? Is she from the 7th calendar?
Yes.
Okay, no, she's from the 7th, it was mixed up. I was right. All right, so Jayla Jones is gonna come back up after Miss Jones. It's gonna be LeBron, Captain LeBron. So Miss Miller, step over there.
Are we going back to females? Are we still on females for the 8th now?
We're gonna do Jayla Jones
Jayla Jones.
and then Captain LeBron.
You want to podium? All right, come on, LeBron. LeBron. Hey, sit down, sit down. All right.
Is Ms. Jones at the podium now?
All right, Ms. Jones, you're charged with family violence battery. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Jarrell. Do you both live at the 3354 Wagner Lane in Rex, Georgia?
No, ma'am, only I do.
All right, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you waive preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I'm not sure what that means.
All right, so I'm gonna set it for August the 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. Once you speak with your attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court.
Okay,
You
thank
may
you.
return with the deputy. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The next one is Ms. LeBron, then. Kathy,
After Ms. LeBron, who do you have?
after Ms.
Whitehead.
It's gonna be Whitehead, Heaven
Whitehead.
Whitehead. Come on, Ms. LeBron, come on. Ms. LeBron, please, please. She can hear you.
All right, you're LeBron.
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with family violence battery. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $6,500. You're ordered to stay away from Ayanna Kennedy. Do you both reside at 8 Lakeview Drive?
No, ma'am, I do.
All right, and you're ordered not to laws if bond. Do you think you'll be able to post?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like?
I'm not sure I understand what that means.
All right, so I'm gonna set it for August the 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. After you speak with your attorney, if you choose to waive by the court, okay?
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
With the deputy.
Okay, come on. Yeah, step up.
You all have a Kenyatta Ambrose.
Say the name, ma'am.
Kenyatta Ambrose.
Ambrose.
It's an add-on.
She's out on bond.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so this is Ms. Whitehead at the podium.
Ed,
Please,
you're having Whitehead?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, ma'am, you're charged with improper lane change, driving without a license, and possession of marijuana less than a. You understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $3,000. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am. Do I have to pay the whole thing? Like, when,
Depends on how you choose bond.
because I know
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have?
I waive it.
Stand by to sign your waiver.
please.
All right, who do you have? That's on the 7th, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's Ms. Cahoon.
And then
Randy
Domino after
Cahoon.
that. No,
That's for the 8th.
for the end, yes, we got Carswell and Regina after this. Carswell and Regina.
This is Carswell.
No, ma'am, that's Ms. Okay, Regina, you want Regina Carswell first?
That's who I have, but I mean, who is this?
This is Ms. Cahoon. It's just a little bit out of order on our calendar.
It's CAHOON.
I think she came after both of the Carswells, probably on your paperwork.
Brandy.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Cahoon, you're charged with burglary. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $25,000. You're ordered not to return to 480 Autumn Drive in Riverdale, Georgia. You're not to violate any laws if you bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
I'm not sure.
Your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in 201. You may return with,
Okay, next is
all right, who do you have next? Say it again.
Regina Carswell, ma'am. Please face.
What happened to Sherry Brown?
I don't have,
Sherry Brown, LaDawn.
Is there a brown in here? Sherry?
Cherie.
Oh.
Is that a Cherie? It is a Brown.
Cherie-
Whoever it is.
Cherie Brown.
Miss Cherie Brown is coming.
All right. All right, and you're Cherie Brown.
Ma'am,
You're charged obstructing an officer is $2,500. Understand what you're charged with?
you said what, ma'am?
Your bond is $2,500. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
What's that mean? What's that mean?
I'm going to set it for August the 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. After you speak with your attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court. You may return with the deputy.
Okay, so now you have Regina Carswell.
I should, just give me one, yeah. And you're as well?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're charged with tampering with this and murder. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
You do not bond at this time. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond in the future. Your court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 20, and your bond hearing is set for September the 4th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. You may return with the deputy.
Judge McFarland, what was the first one? The courtroom for the first one?
202.
202, and the second one was 201?
202. Both of them are 202.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. The next is Shaniqua Carswell.
All right.
Domino.
And you're Shaniqua Carswell.
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with hindering the apprehension of a criminal. You do not have a bond at this time. Do you understand what you're charged?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, your court date is going to be set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. And you may, the deputy.
The next one is Taylor Domino.
Nah, she bonded out.
I'm sorry, she bonded out, man. Taylor Domino bonded out, so the next one is Janisha Dukes. Right ahead.
Farmer.
Pick up my mom.
Just pull it in. You got me, Judge McFarland?
It's
Yes.
not.
That Janisha Dukes bonded out.
I'm right
No,
here.
this is Janisha Dukes in front of you.
Who did you say bonded out?
Taylor Domino.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Janisha Dukes,
Yes, mom.
you're charged with public indecency and loitering or prowling. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, mom.
Your bond is $3,000. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
I don't know. I have like a few dollars on my card. I be trying to think.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have?
She said, do you waive it, Ms. Dukes, or you wanna have it?
I waive it.
She said she'll waive it.
Stand by to sign your waiver.
What do I do now?
Come on here, baby, come on.
So I could just pay my bond?
The next one is Shakina Farmer.
I just pay my bond?
Gregory.
All right, and you're Shakina Farmer.
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with battery. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes.
Your bond is $5,000 and you're ordered to stay away from Naisha Farmer. Do you both reside at the 2100 Godby Road?
Yes, ma'am. That's, oh no, that, we don't live there. We live on, Baldwin Place in DeKalb County. That's my sister's address.
All right, you understand you both can't stay at the same place.
Okay, that's fine, but where would she stay?
All right, then you also need to make sure that you do not violate any laws while on bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have
Would I like to who?
preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I'm gonna waive it.
Stand by to sign your waiver.
And the next one is Zerkeisha Gregory.
All right, and you're Miss Gregory.
Yes, ma'am.
You're with cruel children in the 3rd degree, cruelty to in the 1st degree, and aggravated assault. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $23,500. You're ordered to stay away from Everito and Zachariah Gregory. And you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
No.
And your court date for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in 201. You may return with the deputy.
Okay, thank you.
The next one is Avanti Hiller.
Where's Brittany Hale?
Hold on, Brittany Hale.
That's me.
Come up here, Ms. Hill. Ms. Hill, sit down. Sit right there.
And you're Brittany Hale?
I am.
You're charged with theft by stolen property. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yeah, I sold my car. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I thought yes, ma'am. Sorry,
Your
sorry.
bond is $7,500. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You're ordered to violate any laws while on bond. Your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy.
Thank you.
Next is Ms. Hiller. You have Judge McFarland?
Okay.
Okay.
And you're Avanti Hillard,
Yes.
charged with armed robbery, battery, obstruction of an officer and party to the commission of a crime. You do not have a bond at this time. You're ordered to stay away from Thomas Dean. Not to violate any laws if you post bond in the future. Think you'll be able to, well, you don't have a bond. Your court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. You may return with the deputy.
Yeah, the next one is LaShonda Jackson.
And you're LaShonda Jack.
Yes.
All right, ma'am, you're charged with criminal trespassing and terroristic threats. Do you understand what you're charged with?
I don't understand the criminal trespassing because it's my home.
It says that on August the 7th, you got into an argument with your boyfriend, Danielle Martinez. Looks like you advised that you threw out his belongings on the floor throughout the downstairs portion of the shared living space while yelling at the victim. That you provided the offender provided a video recording of accused stating you have to get out and I'm going to kill you, stab you. And that the victim advised that he was in fear of his life. You're then placed under arrest. Your bond is $12,000. You're ordered to stay away from Daniel Martinez, not to return to 9013 Saddlewood Drive in Jonesboro, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, can I ask you a question? It's my home. I'm on the lease. He's not on the lease, so he doesn't pay no.
All right, speak with your attorney about providing the court with additional information. You both share that residence
Yes,
because he's the victim. At this time, we are going to ask that you not, but you can provide additional information to the, for us to consider. Your court set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. and 201. You may return with the deputy.
Come on this way. Come on this way. All right.
The next one, Judge McFarland, is Maya Miller. Did you find that paperwork, being that we're on the correct day now?
Yes.
Let's set the podium now.
All right, your Miller.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, you're charged with possession of marijuana less than an ounce. We've dismissed the possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. That does not mean that the state cannot bring it at a later date. You also have an improper lane change. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes.
Bond is $2,000 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you're able to post bond?
Yes, I am.
And do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
I have a question about that. With the, okay. Someone else claimed that. How do I, so do I need to go to, I guess.
All right, so I'll set your court date for August the 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. Speak with your attorney, and if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court. You may return with the deputy.
All right, what's the phone? This is Ms. Simmons, and then you got Williams Glass.
Where's Kayla Mitchell?
Kayla Mitchell's in medical, ma'am. She's gonna be done last when they get the other people from medical. She was supposed to come over, but she's still in medical. They never brought her.
I can't hear you.
She can't hear it, Judge.
I don't think she's.
She did, she had this.
Said Jasia Simmons.
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes.
Your bond is $1,500.
I had,
Ordered out to post bond. Do you think the post bond?
Judge McFarland, you broke up.
Your bond is $1,500 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
yes, but I have a question too. I had, okay.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
I don't know.
I'll set your court date for August the 18th. I'm in courtroom 201. After you speak with your attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court. What's your question, ma'am?
Yeah, so I knew my bond yesterday, and then my people came up here to pay it. It was like $1,850. They came up to be like $2,000. They paid yesterday around like 7.
Okay.
So I don't know if y'all got it yet.
She don't know. That was DJ. You have to wait till you get to the house. Okay? She come answer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, she's good, Judge McFarland. The next one is Williams. First initial is T. So your first name.
My first name is Tadriana.
Tadriana Williams.
All right, ma'am, you're charged with possession of marijuana less than an ounce, possession of ecstasy, and theft by receiving stolen property. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $21,500. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy.
You said September 28th.
8 a.m. in courtroom 201.
How much you said? Can you write the price down?
21,000.
21,000. How much? Okay.
Do you know how much?
Okay, are we on females now? I mean, excuse me, males now?
Okay, we're gonna do the males now. One moment, okay?
Sure.
Okay, Judge McFarland, we're gonna go back to the 7th. And we can start with Mr. Belt. Is that okay? Belt, and then Blocker.
Say it again. Who's the first person?
We're gonna start from August 7th, and we're gonna go with Mr. Karan Belt, and then Frederick Blocker.
Ready?
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, all right, one moment.
All right, so who's going first? Belt?
Belt and then Blocker.
Stay yes. That's yes.
All right, you're muted. All right, and you're Ron. Are you Ron Belt?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Belt, you're charged with possession of THC oil. We've dismissed the possession with intent to distribute. I mean, the state cannot bring that at a later date. And then you have a possession of tramadol. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am. Could you say the last part again?
Possession of tramadol,
Yeah.
Schedule 4 drug. All right, you do not have a bond time. Looks like you're on probation out of Clayton County. Sentence this year. Your court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. You may return with the deputy.
Okay, so I didn't understand y'all. So I don't have no bond on none of my charges,
No, you do not.
and I only got 2 charges.
I didn't question.
Man, it keep freezing up. That's why.
When
You do not have a bond based on your probation status.
You say you don't have a bond based on your probation status, okay?
Okay.
All right, come on, Mr. Belt, please face me. The next one is Mr. Blocker. After Mr. Blocker, it's gonna be Mr. Brassfield. Yes, go back to 1.
All right, you're Frederick Blocker.
Move up, Mr. Blocker.
You're charged with theft, lifting, felony, battery, violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, and possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. Do you understand what you're charged with?
No, not really, because I was bull stuff, but
All right, your affidavit on August this year, you did shoplift at 4896 Jonesboro Road, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, by taking a bottle of lemonade out of the display and drinking it in the store without paying for it. Said that you did intentionally cause physical harm to an employee at O'Reilly's. The employee, Wyman Christmas, confronted that offender by taking the lemonade when said offender punched him in the face with a fist. Says that your history has 22 prior shoplifting convictions. During a search of your person, a plastic baggie containing powder was found in your pocket. The described powdery substance is chopped up Xanax. Also located in your pocket was a knife. The powdery substance was later field tested at a gross weight of 2.4 grams and positive for opium.
so you say
$5,000. You're ordered not to return to O'Reilly's at 4892 Borough Road in Forest Park, Georgia. And you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
What, bond said at what?
$45,000.
I don't know, I could try, but I don't understand. Yeah, I'll
All
try.
right, your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy.
The next is Mr. Brassfield.
Do I take my mask off?
Pull it down, just pull it down. This is Sean Brassfield Jr.
All right, Mr. Brassfield, you're charged with disorderly conduct and obstructing or hindering law enforcement. Do you know what you're charged with?
Say that one more time, please.
You're charged with disorderly conduct and obstructing or hindering law enforcement. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $3,000 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
I won't be able to post bond at all, ma'am.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
Say that one more time, please, because it's
Do
breaking.
you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have?
She said you waiving or would you like to have it? Your preliminary hearing.
What does that
He
mean?
doesn't understand.
I don't
She said give him
understand.
a court date, Judge McFarland.
Could you explain, please?
Right. Preliminary hearing is a hearing that determines probable cause to proceed in your case. I'm going to set your court date for August the 18th at 8 a.m. courtroom 201. After you speak with your court-appointed attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court. You may return with the deputy.
Okay.
Okay, come on, Mr. Brassfield. The next one is Stephen Cherry.
Okay.
Appreciate you, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Cherry, you're charged with a drug-related objects. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $1,000 and your order violating you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
You gotta quiet
Do
down.
you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
Waive it.
Stand by to sign your waiver.
Thank you.
And the next one is Daniel Cox. Come right here. All right. Print your name right here.
Where is Martez Cook?
Mr. Cook bonded out, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you're Daniel Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with driving on an expired tag, driving on a suspended license, driving with no insurance, and improper lane change. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Bond is $3,500. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
No.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
Waive. Waive it.
Stand by to sign your waiver.
Come over here, Mr. Crump. The next one is, Mr. Crump bonded out. The next one is Javel Demons or Demons, I'm not sure.
Who did you say bonded out?
Crump,
Who?
Crump, Michael Crump, if you have that. Print your name in.
Okay.
The next one, last name Demens.
All right, Mr. Demons, you're charged with financial transaction card fraud. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
You do not have a bond at this time. Looks like you're on probation out of Gwinnett County.
I am not. That was terminated.
All right. Attorney to provide additional information to the court because it's not showing with us.
I have.
You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond in the future. Your court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. You may.
Come on, bro.
The next one is gonna be, Freeman.
That's me.
All right, are you Kamu Freeman?
Yes, Kamu.
Charged with giving a false name, address, or date of birth. Do you understand what you're charged?
Yes.
Your bond is $1,500 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
No.
And do you waive your preliminary or would you like to have it?
If I do that, will that allow me to be released today?
Post bond.
That's the only way I can be released.
Yes, sir.
I can't post a bond.
So then you'll be released.
Oh, okay. So what do I do now?
She asked if you want to waive or you want to have.
What happens if I wait?
Judge McFarland, he has some questions for you. When she comes back, I just ask her the question.
All right, I'm sorry, Mr. Freeman. Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
Okay, can you explain to me what happens if I take it now and explain to me what happens if I don't?
I can give you the short of it. The preliminary determine whether or not there is probable cause to proceed to a trial in your case. You can also enter a plea at that time to do so. What you can do if you're not sure what to do is wait until you speak with your attorney. I can give you a court date now, and then once you speak with them, if you wish to waive, they'll notify the court, okay?
Okay.
Date is August the 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy.
The next one is Charles Godfrey.
Right. Godfrey, you're charged with criminal trespass. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $3,500. You're ordered to stay away from Leticia Benbury, not to return to 2885 Kensington Way in Rex, Georgia. You have to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
I'm not sure, ma'am.
Do you waive your hearing or would you like to have it?
I like that.
That's going to be set for August the 18th.
And if I have it, I can still post bond, right?
Yeah, at 8 a.m. on 201. Bond, it'll automatically waive the preliminary hearing and you'll receive a notice on when to appear for your arraignment.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Come on.
You may return with the deputy.
Next is Roderick Carroll or Roger Carrell.
All right, Mr. Harrell,
Yes, ma'am.
you're charged with possession of MDMA, possession of marijuana more than an ounce. We've dismissed the possession with the distribute. That does not mean that the state will not bring that at a later. And you are charged with possession of drug-related objects. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Bond is $17,500, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, that's a regular bond, correct?
Excuse me?
That's a regular bond. I can go through a bonding company, correct? Yes, ma'am.
You can try. I don't know if you have the
Yes, ma'am.
required stuff. All right, your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy.
Okay.
The next one is Robert Jones.
You said, where is Varish Jack?
Hold on one second, then. He's here. You want him next? Go sit over there, Mr. Jones.
Who do you have? Who did you say?
I have Robert Jump next.
Robert Jones or Jackson?
It's okay. We got Varish Jack up there now.
All right, Mr. Jack, you're charged with violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. That is possession of Schedule 4 drugs, theft by receiving stolen property, possession of marijuana less and seatbelt violation. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am. And I have a question too.
Hold on, let us finish.
Your bond is $20,500 and you're ordered to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Wait, you said how much it was again, ma'am?
$20,500.
Yes, ma'am, I will be able to post bond.
Your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. What's your question, sir?
Do I go to the bail bonding company, ma'am?
If you're able to.
Yeah.
But I can go to the jail too, right?
Say it again.
I can go to, I can go through the jail too, right, to pay it?
Yes.
Cash or bonding company, yes, sir.
Okay, and you said, well, can you repeat again what on my court date is? You said September.
We got the court date. Come on, Mr. Jackson. Next is Robert Jackson. What's wrong with it?
All right, you're Robert Jackson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jackson, you're charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. You do not have a bond at this time. Looks like you are on probation out of Fulton County. Court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202.
So I don't have a bond?
No, sir, not at this time. You may return with the deputy.
This is my question though. I had the person who firearm it belonged to, when the officer found the firearm.
You have to speak with your attorney about the fact of the case so that they present it to the court, okay? Thank you, sir.
Next is Anthony Jones. Anthony Jones, Judge McFarland.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Hold on, let her talk. Let her talk.
All right, and you're Anthony Jones.
Yes,
Mr. Jones, you're charged with possessing crack cocaine. And what you're charged with?
No, the lady was,
You said no, you don't?
no, I didn't have that in my eyes for a ride. She had it in her car. She had it, that was her stuff in her car. I know she had that in her car. That wasn't my stuff.
All right, you do not have a bond at this time. Looks like you're under sentence out of Clayton County, 12-month suspended sentence dated 4 of this year. Your court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. You may return with the deputy, sir.
The next one is gonna be Robert Jump now. Robert Jump is now. This is the next one.
All right, Mr. Jump, you're charged with possession of methamphetamine and drug-related objects. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $11,500. Not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to bond?
We take into consideration, I'm also have a 13,000 bond that you gave me last week, and I'm on top of it. Could that play into consideration into the bond?
No, sir.
Okay. Then I agree with you. Yes, ma'am, I understand.
Court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201.
All right, thank you.
You may return with the deputy.
Okay, the next one is Calvin Lazenby.
Hold on. Did you all have Allion Hall?
Allion. Say the name again.
Hall.
Hall.
Alione Fall. Fall.
Okay, there. That's the ones that have to come last. He's also going to be isolated.
Okay.
Him and Frazier.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So, what about Kristen Hill?
What you say, ma'am? About Kristen Hill?
Kristen Nicole Hill.
Yeah, she went already, ma'am. She went in the females. She was in that very first group that we did.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Okay. All right, and who do we have up?
This is Mr. Lazenby.
All right, Mr. Lazenby, you're charged with kidnapping, aggravated battery, and you know the 3 charges?
Ma'am, I can hear you say that again, please.
Do you know what you're charged with, sir?
Yeah.
You said yes?
No.
Do you want your charges out loud?
Go ahead.
You're charged with kidnapping, aggravated battery, and rape. Do you understand what you're charged with? Sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you do not have a bond at this time. You're ordered away from Melanie Hughes and violate any laws if you post bond in the future. Your preliminary court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202, and the hearing will be September the.
She froze.
Judge McFarland,
Return with the deputy.
You froze.
you froze, ma'am. He didn't get his
Yes.
information, the bond, or if he had a bond or anything. If he had a court date.
Oh, okay. You do not have at this time. Did you hear that?
Yes.
You're ordered to stay away from Melanie Hughes. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond in the future. Your court date, your preliminary court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. And your bond hearing is September the 4th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
It's clear.
Thank you.
Come on here.
Who do you have next?
Demetrius Osmond.
Osmond,
Yes, ma'am.
you're charged with lane drag, driving without brake lights, violation of seatbelt law, and obstructing an officer. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $3,000, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am. $3,000?
Yes. Do you want a preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
Yes, ma'am. I'll have to take the $3,000 bond.
No, she asked you about preliminary. Judge McFarland, he didn't hear your question about preliminary hearings.
Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I waive it.
Stand by to sign your waiver.
Okay, Judge McFarland, Mr. Russell's in medical, so he's gonna have to be done last. The next one is gonna be Mr. Savon, no, this correction. Russell, Savon, they're gonna have to be done last, and then Mr. Singletary is next. Anthony Singletary.
Please.
All right, Mr. Singletary,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
you're charged with aggravated stalking. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Ma'am.
You said
Yes, ma'am.
you do not have a bond at this time. You're ordered to stay away from Kristen Miller, not to return to 4146 Greenwood Drive in Jonesboro, Georgia, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond in the future. Your court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. You have a question, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I'm the same lady that I'm in this for. We engaged to get married, and I went to her mom's house, and she.
All right, you need to speak with your attorney about the facts of your case so they can properly present it, okay?
Yes, ma'am, please, so when will be the earliest I can have a bond?
Your court date is set for August 1st, and you have no bond based on your probation status out of Thomas County Superior Court. All right, you may return with the deputy.
Come on, sir. Come on. Put on your mask.
Next is gonna be Cavante Sloan.
Let's go this like that.
All right, Elijah Skillings, is he out?
Take it off.
Is Elijah Skillings there or out?
I didn't hear you.
Say it again.
What did you say?
Elijah Skilling.
Oh, he's bonded out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is.
All right, you're Cavante Sloan.
Ma'am.
You're charged with theft by receiving stolen property and possession of marijuana in an ounce. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
You do not have a bond. It's based on a sentence out of Fulton County last year. You're on probation. Your court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. And you may return with the deputy.
Okay, the next one is Jonathan Smith. No, because you got probation out of Fulton.
All right, Mr. Smith, you're charged with marijuana more than an ounce in possession with intent to distribute. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $13,500, and you're ordered not to violate laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post?
Judge McFarland, he didn't hear you. He didn't hear what you said about posting bond.
Your bond is $14,500, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
No, ma'am.
Your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy.
Next one, last name Thomas.
All right, you're Josiah Thomas.
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with obstructing an officer and theft by receiving stolen property. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $12,500, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy.
Okay, Mr. Valdez. Are you Mr. Valdez? Okay, take a seat. Mr. Valdez is in medical. So the next one we have is C.D. Watkins.
Patrick Walker.
No, man, Walker bonded out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, you're C.D. Watkins.
Yes.
Yes.
You're charged with failing to have headlights on, driving with no license, possession or use of drug-related objects, marijuana less than an ounce, in violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act. That is possession of THC edibles. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes.
Your bond is $9,500, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes.
Your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy. Do you have a Billy McCulley?
McCulley? One moment, man. Yeah, he's gonna be one of the gentlemen we're gonna have to do last, ma'am. He's in that quarantine section, the isolation section.
All right, you have Wooten next?
Yes, ma'am. Next is Mr. Wooten. Judge McFarland.
Yeah.
Mr. Nguyen, did you send down the fugitive information for him?
What information?
Mr. Andre Nguyen is a fugitive.
I have a Cooper and a Nguyen.
Okay.
And the jail is who has the waivers. I signed after.
Okay, all right, I'll call down to get that. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. You're Samuel Wooten.
Ma'am.
You're charged with possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and driving with no license. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $19,500, and you're ordered not to violate any law post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy.
Okay, Judge McFarland, next we're gonna go over to the 8th then. It's gonna be Mr. Charles Bonner.
All right.
Check this out.
Judge McFarland, who was the other name you said for a fugitive?
She said Cooper.
You said for extradition?
Yes, ma'am. I have Nguyen, and who was the other one?
Juan Cooper.
Juan Cooper? So it's Cooper and Nguyen? I don't even have Cooper on the, Cooper must have been an add-on then. I don't have Cooper. What's Cooper's first name, Judge McFarland?
Juan, Juan. Juan Shelton Cooper.
Shelton Cooper. And the other one is Andre said she sent all the papers and I need.
All right, you're Charlie Bonner.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're charged with criminal damage to property in the second degree. Do you understand what you're charged?
Yes, ma'am.
You do not have a bond at this time. And that's based on 2 probations. Look like you're on out of Sumter County. You're ordered not to return to 15 Point Drive in Forest Park, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond in the future. Your court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. on 202, and you may return with the deputy.
Okay, so next is gonna be Charles Bonner.
I'm Charles Bonner.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Joe Bonner.
Or you have Joe Bonner.
No, Joe Bonner's in medical.
Okay,
You're Joe Bonner?
No,
No,
Judge
ma'am.
McFarland. Joe Bonner is in medical, so he's gonna be done last 2. This is Mr. Buck, James Buck.
All right. Butler, you're charged with family battery, theft by taking, and 2 counts of cruelty to children. You also have a robbery charge. Do you understand what you're charged with?
You said I have a robbery charge?
Yes, sir.
Why would I have a robbery?
Put on your.
Ma'am, you can hear me, ma'am?
I can hear you now. What'd you say?
You said I got a robbery? I was trying to see why I got a robbery.
I can read the warrant to you. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, ma'am. It was my wife too. I don't know why I got a robbery. Everything in mine is her. Yeah. Wait,
Judge McFarland?
we didn't know nothing
Yes,
about the warrant.
Okay. I just wanna make sure it's you. Okay.
I'm looking at the warrant.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't even know the warrant.
All right, it says that on July the 15th of this year, you did with the intent to commit a theft, take the property of Miranda Robinson from the immediate presence person of Ms. by force, by punching Robinson with a closed fist and pulling her hair to take her vehicle keys and Samsung Galaxy. This did occur in Clayton County. All right, the total bond is $29,500. You're ordered to stay away from Miranda Robinson, Quentin and Patricia Robinson, not to return to 7397 Aubrey Drive in Riverdale, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
You said 2,900, 29,000? Yes, ma'am.
29,500. All right, your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201.
Can I ask for, well, I probably can't ask for a bond reduction at this time. All right, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Put on your mouth.
Okay, Judge McFarland, the next one is gonna be,
All right, who do you have?
next one is Courtney Davis.
Okay, no problem.
All right, you're Courtney Davis. You're charged with burglary, sir. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Charge of burglary. Do you understand what you're charged with?
No, I don't
You
understand.
said no, ma'am.
All right, it says that on August the 7th of this year, you did enter the residence 82 Autumn Drive in Riverdale, Georgia, which is owned by a Brittany Coakley without the owner's permission, and took her appliances and scrap metal without her authority, without authority. This did occur in Clayton County. You do not have a bond at this time, as it is said that you are out of Clayton County. You're ordered not to return to 482 Autumn Drive in Riverdale, Georgia, and you're not to violate any law bond in the future. Your court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202.
Why don't I can't hear.
What part did you miss? Where did you last hear?
Why don't I don't have a bond?
It says that you're under sentence. Clayton, you were sentenced on the 9th of 2015 to 7 years probation.
Okay, next is Mr. James Destratus.
I do not have the paperwork on Mr. Destratus.
Bonded out. Okay, he bonded out, I'm sorry. Next is Mr. English.
All right. And I'm waiting on the history on Mr. English, so he has to hold.
Okay, so you want to take Mr. Ferguson next then, since you're waiting on the history?
Okay. Yes.
She said yes.
She said yes. Okay.
Robert Ferguson.
Yes, ma'am, he's coming up.
All right, you're Robert Ferguson.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Ferguson, you're charged with obstructing an officer. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes.
Your bond is $1,500. You're ordered not to violate any post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Will I be able to get a signature bond?
No.
Yes, I'll be able to post bond.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing? Like to have it?
Have it.
That's going to be set for August the 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return. Who do you have next?
Manuel Garcia? No. Okay. Hold on one moment, Judge McFarland. Okay, Judge McFarland, Mr. Garcia bonded out. Next, we have Mr. Tony Golden.
All right. All right, you're Tony Golden.
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with driving with a license. Understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $1,000 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
I could if I could get to my wallet or either a signal bond, I can pay it by tomorrow.
All right, do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
And on the no license, no, I can waive it. I don't need it. I mean, I didn't have no license.
All right, stand by to sign your waiver.
Next is going to be Xavier Harper.
And you're Xavier Harper.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Harper, you're charged with possession of marijuana less than an ounce. We've dismissed the possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime does not mean that the state will not bring it at a later date. We also have a possession of firearm by convicted felon. Do you understand what you're charged with?
You said I got possession of a firearm. I didn't have a firearm.
I dismissed.
Oh, okay.
You said you had, hold on. I dismissed the possession during the commission of a crime.
Okay.
But you still have pending the possession of marijuana less than an ounce and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. You do not have a bond at this time based on county sentence. Your order.
My fiance had to carry and it was on her hip. I had nothing to do with the pistol.
So you have to speak with your attorney so they can properly present the information to the court to consider. Your preliminary court date is set for August 8 a.m. in courtroom 202.
August when?
31st.
So I have to sit in jail to the 31st?
You can speak with your attorney, but that's your next court date.
Okay, next one is going to be Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris. Hold on one moment, Judge McFarland. Okay. Sergeant Harris and Gerard Harrison.
It's muted. It's muted.
I'm sorry, Mr. Farley.
All right, what's your name?
Harassment Harris.
Harris, ma'am.
You're charged with window tint violation, obstructing or hindering the display of your license, driving on an expired license, and driving with no insurance. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Speak a little louder.
Bond is $2,500, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. You'll be able to post bond. And do you waive every hearing, or would you?
She's breaking up.
Tell her that you're breaking up.
You're breaking up.
Okay.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I would still like to have it.
All right, that's gonna be set for August the 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. And you may return with the deputy.
Come on. The next one is Gerard Harrison.
Hold on, I do not have Harrison up.
Oh, he gotta get his stuff. I just gotta get his stuff. Oh, okay, so go sit in there. You said you don't have Mr. Harrison's paperwork?
No. I do not. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Make sure I have it here. Jared Harrison.
Your name is Kelly? What's your name?
Well, I don't have that paperwork just yet. I have to call him back up.
You said for Mr. English?
Jared Harrison. We have to call back up. I don't have his paperwork right now.
Okay, go inside into 6, Mr. Harrison. Mr. Harrison, go in 6. Mr. English, go in 6.
All right, who do you have next?
The next is gonna be Mr. Maffett. Maffett, Maffett.
All right, what happened to Dallas Kelly?
Hold on 1 second. So 60, so 69. Where's Mr. Dallas Kelly? That's so 60, that's so 69. You know where Mr. Kelly is, Dallas Kelly? Was he ever brought up? He's here. Okay. He's back there. Dallas Kelly! Come on, Mr. Kelly. One moment, Judge McFarland. Yes, I got him. Come on, Mr. Kelly. Okay, it's all right. It's all right. Come on. Put your face next to him. Okay, this is Mr. Kelly.
And I'm Jared Harrison. All right, Mr. Kelly, you're charged with driving on a suspended license, tag, speeding 16 to 20 miles over the speed limit, and driving with no insurance. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
Bond is $4,100, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Do you waive your preliminary, or would you like to have it?
I would like to have it, yeah. That's cool.
That's going to be set for August the 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. And you may return with the deputy.
All right, thank you.
Okay, next is Mr. Maffett, Maffett.
Mr. Matt,
How you doing?
you're charged with improper lane change, possession of marijuana, less than an ounce, in possession with intent to distribute. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
You do not have a bond at this time. Looks like you're on a suspended sentence out of Clayton County dated December of last year.
What now?
He said what day? He didn't hear the date that you said.
You do not have a bond at this time. Your court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. And you may return with the deputy.
So no bond?
No. Okay, next, Mr. McCulley is one of the isolations going to be done last, and as well as Ms. Mitchell. So the next one is going to be Pierce, I'm sorry, Price, Sean Price.
Okay.
Mr. Price, please face me.
And you're Sean Price.
Yes.
Please.
You're charged with driving without a license and expired tag. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yup.
Yes, yes, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Your bond is $1,500 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes.
You waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
Wait.
Stand by to sign your waiver.
Come over here, Mr. Price. Next is going to be, now I have James Sheffield next.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Sheffield, you're charged with possession of marijuana with intent to distribute. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $8,000 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy.
Okay.
Okay, the next one is Ronteria Sims.
All right, Mr. Sims, you're charged with family violence, battery, and cruelty to children, the 3rd degree. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $8,500. You're ordered to stay away from Tara Klein, not to return to 1016 Garden Lake Drive in Riverdale, Georgia. And you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am, but you know that Garden Lake, that's my residence, right? That's not her residence.
All right, speak with your attorney and allow them to provide additional information for the court to consider.
And one more thing, you know, I have custody of the child now?
All right, and you need to speak with your attorney about that. Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
No, I don't want to post bond, but I don't want, I can waive them though.
You said you waived? Stand by to sign your waiver.
Okay, come over here, Mr. Sims. Next is gonna be Johnny Strutchen.
And you're Johnny Stretchen.
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with gambling, sir. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $3,000 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
3,000?
Yes, sir.
Front?
Excuse me?
That's 3,000 in cash.
Or you can go through a bonding company.
I can post it, I guess.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I like to be bonded, yes.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
Exactly what you mean, let me see.
He doesn't understand. And Mr. Sims doesn't understand either, ma'am.
All right, I'm gonna set the court date for August the 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. Once you speak with your attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court. Does Mr. Sims change his decision?
He was unclear on what waiver means. He doesn't understand.
It's a hearing to determine probable cause or whether or not the court should continue the case to trial, proceeding if there's enough evidence to go forward.
She asked me if I like to answer her question.
Come on.
Come on, Mr. Stretcher.
Did Mr. Sims want to change his decision?
No, Do you understand that?
He's waiving or not?
No, you good, you good, you good.
He doesn't, do you want to waive or do you want the court?
On the court.
Okay, he would like a court date.
All right. So that's August the 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, next is Mr. Terry, Cody Terry.
You're Cody Terry.
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with carrying a weapon. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $3,000 and you're ordered not to violate any laws. Bond. You think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
I waive it.
Stand by to sign your waiver.
Okay, the next one is Mr. Thrower, Darman Thrower.
And you're a Darman Thrower.
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with financial transaction, card fraud, and identity fraud. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $20,000 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy.
September the 28th. 8 o'clock, following 201.
What was it?
September 28th. 8 o'clock. 201. I could have asked or something. Come on now, you gotta go. Go to the police, bro.
Mr.
Uravazo.
Uravazo.
All right, Mr. Uravazo, you're charged with possession of oxycodone and filing. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $9,500 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Your court date is set for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy.
Okay, the next one is Mr. Watts. Mr. Uravazo.
Good morning.
All right, Mr. Watts, you're charged with failing to sign your citation, driving with no insurance, and obstructing an officer. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Not really. Not really.
Says that on August 7th, in the city of Morrow, Clayton County, you're on the roadway with no insurance. Says that you refused to sign your citation and when it's advised that you would go to jail. Oh, you advised that you would not go to jail. When you were asked to get out of your vehicle, you refused and pulled away from the officer. Your bond is $3,000 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. You'll be able to post.
3,000.
Yes or no? Just say yes or no?
No.
You waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
Can you break that down to me? I'm not familiar with.
In short, it allows for information to be provided to the court for them to determine if your case should proceed to trial. If you want to enter a plea at that time, you can also do that.
Okay, I would like to do that.
That's going to be set for August the 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy.
Okay, Judge McFarland, next one is Mr. Nicholas White. Just go straight down. Go to intake, okay? Mr. White.
Who is it?
That's Nicholas White. You know what intake is?
I don't have a light ready. Hold on one second. Here's
It's gonna be a door, casket. Keep walking down the hall. Yes. It's gonna be the next slider to your right.
all right. We're waiting on his criminal history, so you have to hold on him.
For Mr. White as well?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. White, go on to 6. Judge McFarland, we were waiting on Intake said they did not have Cooper or Wynn's paperwork. If you could please send it, to Miss Cynthia Denson.
They did not send me, but I have a waiver for when.
I didn't hear you, ma'am.
I have a waiver for when. They did not send me a waiver for Cooper.
Well, we don't have anything from Mr. Wynn at all. That's what I'm saying. It's already signed. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying the actual form. What, so you want?
I'm talking about the fugitive, the waiver of extradition paperwork.
Right, I only have Mr. Wynn's blank one. And then I don't have one for Juan Cooper. They never sent one over.
And she was saying that she was waiting for you to send it to her.
The jail,
They said they were waiting for you to send them the waiver of extradition paperwork.
talking about intake?
Yes, ma'am.
That's where I get it from.
So you get it from them and you sign it and then you send it back.
I get it from them. They send it to you guys with the court appointed stuff, and then it comes back to me after the inmate decides to waive.
Okay. Judge McFarland, can we let Deputy Filbert do the people over there in medical, and then we could I'm gonna try and find out what happened in intake.
Okay.
And you let me know when you're ready for Mr. Harrison and Mr. English, okay? And Mr. White is, I can't hear you. You on mute, I think, Judge McFarland, I can't hear you. Judge McFarland, we can't hear you. No, ma'am, we can't hear you at all. Can you hear her?
No, I can't hear her.
Yeah. Judge McFarland, we can't hear you. She froze.
All right.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So we can do medical.
Come here. Come here. Yeah, yeah, back up. You back up.
McFarland.
Okay, we can do medical. We can do medical now, and then I'll have to take a break.
Come here, man.
I can't hear anything.
I'm sorry, Judge.
I said I can do medical, and then we'll take a break so that I can get the rest of the paperwork for the other people, and then find out with the extradition paperwork.
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna call.
Right. So who does medical have up?
Judge, I have a Bonner, Joe.
All right. Mr. Bonner, can you hear me? All right. This is your first appearance hearing here in the Clayton County Magistrate Court. I'm going to try today or take a plea. I'm just going to let you know what you're charged with, let you know whether or not you have a bond, let you know your preliminary court date. In your case, you're charged with a misdemeanor, so you can waive it if you choose to do so. Your preliminary hearing is ensured for you to, or for there to be a determination if there's enough evidence to proceed to trial. You can also take a plea at that time if you choose to do so. You do have the right to remain silent. Any information you provide to the court may be used against you if your case proceeds to trial. During this and all other proceedings, you have the right to the presumption of innocence until the state proves beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to an indictment by grand jury in felony cases, and the right accusation in misdemeanor matters. You have a right to a speedy and public trial by jury. You have the right to see, hear, and cross-examine witnesses who are called to testify against you, the right to compel the attendance of witnesses by subpoena on your own behalf, the right to compel the testify on your own behalf to offer a defense should you choose to do so. Should you choose not to do so, then no presumption of your guilt may be raised. If bond, you can post either a cash bond, commercial bond, or bond. Cash bond would have to be paid in full with the surcharges to the jail, and that money returned to you or the person posted bond at the end of your case. You can go through a bonding company, approved sheriff's department, and they would charge up to 15% of the bond amount. Or if you have property and there is a net equity in the property, an amount equal to 3 times the total amount of your bond, you can post a bond that way. All right, you're charged with obstructing an officer, sir. Do you understand what you're charged with? It says that on August the 7th, the offender was lawfully stopped after leaving Southern Regional Hospital for a medical evaluation. Your officer was informed that you had a warrant out of county. He approached you and asked you for your name and date of birth, and you took a defensive posture and jerked away. You're then taken into custody but wanted to fight with the officer on the scene. You refused all lawful to stop and place your hand behind your back. This was done in Clayton County, and the incident was recorded on the officer's body cam. Your $1,500. At this time, I'm going to schedule a preliminary court date for August the 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. I'm also going to appoint a court-appointed attorney to assist you with your case. After you speak with your attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court. You can
Judge,
return.
I'm sorry, Judge, what was his bond again?
$2,500.
2,500?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Judge, I'm gonna be moving to another area, okay?
All right, who you have there?
Ma'am,
Do you know who you're going to?
the next one I'm going to is going to be Pierce Katisha,
All right.
Russell Adrian, and Valdez Digsy. You ain't got a score.
They in the same area?
Yes, ma'am.
You said who?
Oh,
Russell and who?
and Valdez Digsy,
Russell and Valdez, just those two?
and Russell Valdez and Mitchell Kate. No, I found out that Mitchell bonded out Pierce.
Pierce.
Yeah, Pierce, Russell, and Valdez.
Pierce. Let's. You said Mitchell bonded out?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm waiting on paperwork for Pierce.
Hey, Judge. Judge McFarland.
Yes, sir.
Judge McFarland, Juan Cooper bonded out. So we're just waiting on the paperwork from intake for Mr. Nguyen. Judge McFarland, you clear?
She's looking at the picture.
Okay.
We can't hear. We cannot get straight up. We can't hear. Judge, we can't hear you.
Do you need me to send you Andre Nguyen's paperwork?
They said if you could send it to Cynthia Denson, please, ma'am. Cynthia.
Just the waiver or the whole thing?
The whole, just for the extradition of waivers, the extradition paperwork.
I'll send the, okay. They sent me.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's in about the Cooper, not after that.
Judge McFarland, you were clear on Mr. Cooper though, right?
He's out, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Judge McFarland.
Yes.
They're bringing Mr. Nguyen's paperwork for us now.
They're doing what?
They're bringing Mr. Nguyen's, I think they located the paperwork. They're bringing the paperwork down to main court holding now, where we are.
So don't send it?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
They said they're bringing it out.
All right, sir, what's your name? You're muted.
Say it again.
Andre Nguyen.
All right, Mr. Nguyen, do you have an attorney assisting you in your extradition matter?
No.
All right, I'm gonna read some information to you. It said that you're wanted out of Randall County Sheriff's Office in Alabama for burglary under warrant number WR 2016-000-567. This hearing is being conducted pursuant to OCGA Title 17, Chapter 13. As you have heard, it's alleged that you are charged with a crime that exists in the state of Alabama. Choice as to whether you wish to contest extradition or to waive extradition and be returned to the other state without going through the formal extradition process. If you decide that you wish to contest extradition, the court may commit you to the county jail for an initial period of 30 days. During that time, a warrant will be prepared for the governor's signature for your extradition to the other. The court is not going to give you a bond at this time, as it is said that you are a fugitive from justice. If you do not wish to voluntarily return to the state of Alabama, you may file what's called a writ of habeas corpus to contest extradition. The writ of habeas corpus can only contest 4 things. The first thing is whether the extradition documents are in order on their face. The second is whether you are charged with a crime that actually exists in the demanding state. The third is whether you are the person in the extradition, and the fourth is whether you are in fact a fugitive from justice. You cannot contest innocence or guilt in this state. You are entitled to the advice of counsel in contesting extradition or in to waive extradition. If the state is unable to extradite you within 30 days, you may be committed to the county jail for an additional 60 days waiting extradition. If the extradition is not completed in 90 days, then you will be released. Do you have any questions about what I just explained to you, sir?
No, ma'am. I just want to sign so I can go on and go over there.
All right. Moment, the jail will give you the paperwork so that you can go ahead and sign the waivers. Make sure that you sign 8 copies and allow for the last one to stay with you for your record, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Judge McFarland?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the gentlemen that were isolated, they're gonna be escorted in a few minutes, so if you could just be patient. And we
Okay, I see someone up now. Who's that?
This is Valdez.
Is the Valdez the only person there?
I got Valdez, Russell, and Pierce.
Pierce. I don't have paperwork at this time.
Okay, I also have Anderson and Frazier.
All right, do you all know Billy McCulley? Is Billy McCulley out?
Somebody's coming from 11-4.
No, they can't be out based on the charge. I have a Billy McCulley that I need.
Yeah, he's gonna be one of the last ones.
Okay, so McCulley is still in isolation.
Yeah, he's one of the ones I was telling you about.
So I'm waiting on history on English, Savan, paperwork on Pierce.
Judge McFarland?
Yes, ma'am.
If Paul, McCulley, and Savannah are the ones that I told you that were, they're gonna have to be escorted. They're coming up. Those are the ones I asked you to wait for. Just stand by one moment for.
Okay.
Okay.
And Nicholas White and Jared Hanson. I'm waiting on paperwork for. So we'll pause on those in a minute. And then who else do you size? Russell and Valdez?
I also have Anderson Carmen.
You're welcome.
And Jenny Frazier.
Those are coming up?
Yeah, I have them here in this area as well.
Okay, you have Anderson and Frazier.
Uh-huh.
And then McCullough will be last. Is that right?
Yes.
All right, so give this information to Russell, Valdez, Anderson, and Frazier.
Gotcha.
All right, are they ready?
Yeah, this is Valdez at the door right now.
Is she alone, or am I saying the?
No, her and Russell is together. Well, they can all hear you, so you can just say it one time.
That's what I want to make sure.
Okay.
All right, this is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. We're not here to try your case today or take a plea. I'm here to inform you of the charge and advise your set a bail on those offenses. The court is authorized to set bail and schedule a preliminary hearing. I'm also here to determine whether a court-appointed attorney will be appointed to assist you. You do have the right to remain silent and say nothing, but should you give up the right, anything you say during the proceeding may be used against you if your case goes to trial. During this and all other proceedings, you have the right to the presumption of innocence until the state proves your guilt beyond a doubt. You have the right to indictment by grand jury for most felonies or accusation for misdemeanors. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and cross-examine witnesses who are called to testify against you, the right to compel the attendance of witnesses on your own behalf by and the right to testify and offer in your own defense should you choose to do so. But should you choose not to, no presumption of your guilt may be raised. I am going to appoint a court-appointed attorney to assist you If you want to have a private attorney assist you, just simply ask them to file their entry of appeal, and then the appointed attorney will no longer assist you on your case. You can post bond in 3 ways. The first way is through a cash bond, which is the total amount plus surcharges that are to be paid to the sheriff's department. They'll hold on to that money until your case ends. At the end of your case, the money will be returned to the person that posted the bond. The second way that you can post bond is through a bonding company. If you use a bonding company that is approved by the sheriff's department, they'll charge up to 15% of the bond amount. And they keep that money for their services, so you won't get that back. And then the third way that you can post bond is if you have equity in property in the amount equal to 3 times the total amount of your bond. If you have special conditions associated with your bond, like if I tell you not to a particular place or not to go around a particular person, make sure you follow those instructions to avoid being rearrested, held in custody until your case is disposed of, and additional charges being like aggravated stalking, influencing witnesses, or other charges that the law provides for. This could be brought against you, for which you sentence up to 10 years in prison and fined up to $20,000. If a family member or friend is also a victim, an alleged victim in the case, they cannot post bond, so you will have to make other arrangements. If you're charged misdemeanor, you do have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing today. A preliminary hearing is held to determine whether there is probable cause, reason for your case to trial. You can also enter a plea at that time. If you choose, if there is probable cause and you want to plead not guilty, a trial date will be set, a court date will be set. Those are for misdemeanors. For misdemeanors, you have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing. And if you do that, then you'll sign your waiver. I don't know if you can sign in isolation, but a waiver should be signed. Otherwise, we'll set a court date for you to be heard. Felony matters will not option of waive, but maybe option at a future date. All right, ma'am, what's your name? All right, Ms. Valdez, you're charged with driving with no license. Do you understand what you're charged with? Your bond is $1,000. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond? All right, do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you have it?
She wants to know if you want to waive your preliminary hearing or do you want to have it? She says she wants to have it, Judge.
I didn't hear her.
She says she wants to have a hearing.
All right, that's going to be set for August 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201.
You said August,
right.
What day? What was the date? August 18th, okay.
At 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. And then Adrian Russell.
Russell. Yeah. Hmm? Well,
all right, Ms. Russell.
Ms. Russell.
All right, you're with signaling, possession of marijuana less than an ounce, possession of cocaine, and possession of drug-related objects. Do you understand what you're charged with? All right, you need to speak with your attorney about the facts of your case, ma'am. Right now, you do not have a bond based on your probation out of Henry County. You're ordered not to any laws if you post bond in the future. Your court date is set for August the 31st at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. And you can speak, like I said, with your court-appointed attorney about the facts of your case so it can be properly presented to the court. All right, and then you said you have Carmen Anderson and Jenny Frazier.
Yes, Judge.
All right, just let me know when you're ready.
Okay. All right, court. Who's first? Who's that? What's your name?
Anderson.
Frazier? Okay.
Frazier, okay. All right, Ms. Frazier, you're charged with theft by shoplifting. Understand what you're charged with? All right, your bond is $2,000. You're ordered not to return to the Walmart at 2940 Anvil Block Road in Ellenwood, Georgia. And you're not in any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
No, ma'am, I don't have any money. No one knows where I am.
All right, and do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
Ma'am, I can't hardly hear you.
Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing or you want to have it?
I'm gonna set the preliminary hearing for August the 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. Once you speak with your court-appointed attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court, okay? All right, thank you, ma'am. And then you have Carmen Anderson.
Let me get Anderson.
Do I get to sign my own board and get out? I don't have anyone come get me.
I'll talk with you about it. Let me get Anderson first.
And Judge McFarland,
Yes, ma'am.
when you finish with Ms. Anderson, we have the three gentlemen, Fall, McCulley, and Savon, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Anderson, you're charged with theft by shoplifting. Do you understand what you're charged with? All right, your bond is $2,000 and you're ordered not to return to the Walmart at 2940 Anvil Block Road in Ellenwood, Georgia. You're also ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond? All right, I'm gonna set your court for the 18th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. Once you speak with your court-appointed attorney, if you choose to waive, they'll notify the court, okay? All right, thank you, ma'am.
Do I get to go home today?
You have a bond, you have to post bond. All right. All right, so you're saying you have McCulley. Those are the only two I have.
Judge, and we forgot about Pierce as well until you get the paperwork.
I don't have the paperwork for Pierce yet.
Okay.
Okay, who did you say, Judge McFarland? You said Mr. McCulley?
McCulley and Fall.
Mr. McCulley and Mr. Fall, you want them together?
Yes, please. I can read it. All right.
Mr. McCulley and Mr. Fall, come here. Put your face mask back on. Mr. McCulley, come on. Yeah, Mr. Fall and Mr. McCulley, stand right here. Not you yet, not Mr. Oh. Come on, Mr. McCulley, come on. Turn this way, sweetie. Look at the camera. Come over here. Stand right beside. Right over here. There you go.
Not in the picture.
Okay, I got you, don't worry. Okay, this is Mr. McCulley and Mr. Fall. Mr. McCulley's to your, on the first one on the left, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, this is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. I'm not here to take a plea today or try your case. I'm here to inform you of charges that are pending against you, advise you of certain rights, set those offenses for which this court is authorized at bail, and to schedule preliminary hearing. I'm also going to appoint a court-appointed attorney to assist each of you. However, if you'd like to have a private attorney, you can afford a private attorney to assist you. Once they file their insurance with the court-appointed attorney will no longer assist you, okay? During this proceedings, you do have the right to remain silent. Any information to the court against you if your case proceeds to trial. You have the right to the presumption of innocence until the state proves your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to indictment by grand jury for most felonies or accusation by misdemeanor. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury. You have the right to see, hear, and cross-examine witnesses who are called to testify against you. You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses by subpoena. You have the right to testify on your behalf should to do so. But if you choose not to, no presumption of guilt may be raised. As I stated, I am going to appoint a court appointment to assist you at this time. If you have a bond, you can post bond in 3 ways. The first way is through a cash bond, which is the total amount plus surcharges paid to the sheriff's department. That money will be returned to you once your case is disposed of. The second way you can post bond is through a bonding company. If you use a bonding company that is approved by the sheriff, they'll charge up to 15% bond amount. That money won't be returned what they have for their fees. You have property with a net equity in an amount equal to 3 times the bond, you can use that property. If you have special conditions associated with your bond, like if I tell you not to go to a particular place or not to go around a particular person, make sure you follow those instructions to avoid being rearrested, additional charges added, and the possibility of you remaining in custody until your case is disposed of. Additional may include talking or influencing witnesses, for which sentence up to 10 years or fined up to $20,000. All right, I do not think either of you have victims in your case. All right, to mention, and you're both charged with felonies, so I will give you your court date. You do not have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing today, but you may do so at a future time. Preliminary hearing may be used to determine whether there is probable cause to continue to trial. And we have that set date for both, I believe, is going to be set for September the 20th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201. All right, and you are Alon Fall. Who's Mr. Fall? All right, Mr. Fall, you're charged with theft by receiving stolen property, driving on the wrong side of the road, obstruction of officer, violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, that is possession of marijuana, aggravated assault, improper lane change, red light violation, and fleeing from police. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $34,000 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and I already gave you your court date for September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 20. You can, deputy. And then you're Billy McCulley.
I'm sorry, what was the court date? I mean, the courtroom, I'm sorry.
201.
Okay.
201?
Yes.
Come on.
Go back in.
All right, and you're Billy McCulley.
34.
Mr. McCulley, you're charged with possession of methamphetamine and failing to signal. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $10,500 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Sir, do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
All right, and your court date is the same, September the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 201, and you may return with the deputy, okay?
Are you ready to take Mr. Savon?
Let's see if, I'm trying to look. No, I'm still waiting on paperwork from the jail, about to come off now and email them, and then I can let you know the status.
Okay, I'll give him a phone call as well. So you waiting on paperwork for Harrison?
Let me give you the list. English.
Uh-huh.
Savon.
Uh-huh.
Complete package Pierce.
A complete package for Pierce.
And Harrison. And then White.
And White. And Savon. Okay.
And then that's all I have. You don't have anybody else waiting, right?
I have Savon, White, Harrison, and English. Okay.
And I have Pierce.
And Pierce,
Yeah.
Pierce over Meadow.
Yep, those are who we're waiting on.
Okay.
All right, thank you.